This is a graphics card, used for rendering video games and everything you see. This is RAM. It helps your computer remember what it's doing, be it a browser tab that's open, or what you just wrote for your essay before you save. This is a hard drive. It's the permanent storage for everything that you save. So all your programs, games, music, pictures, they're all stored on here. This is a CPU, responsible for telling your computer what to do and how to do things. This is a power supply, responsible for giving all the parts in your computer power. This is a motherboard. This is what allows all the previous parts I mentioned talk to each other. Step 1, inserting the CPU. We'll lift this up, put this flap, and then we will put in the CPU. CPU has a notch on it, and it will only fit one way. Once that's in place, put this flap down, and it should clip in like that. Once the CPU is inserted, remove this black cover. The next step is putting a cooler over top of the CPU. This is so that the CPU does not overheat. The motherboard has a few different slots. There's 2 RAM slots here, and there's another slot here. Depending on the size of motherboard you have or type of motherboard you have, you might have more RAM slots, or you might have more of these slots. RAM has 2 very specific notches, and they'll line up with these slots here. Once you've got them oriented the correct way, just slide them in, and they should just snap right in. Next step is a graphics card. It will go into this blue slot. The graphics card will have 2 notches, and there's a notch on the slot here as well. Make sure those line up. Now that we've got all those parts plugged in, there's really only one final step, and that is plugging in the power supply. The power supply has numerous cables on it, and each cable fits into a specific part of the motherboard. So we'll have this cable here with this adapter here. It plugs into this slot right here.
That's some pretty good breaching methods.
Now, there's also a slot right here. We'll have to find the end on the power supply that fits that slot. Now the nice thing about the power supply and wiring up a computer is that no wires fit into the wrong spot. Last step, we have 2 slots right here on the graphics card. So, you want to find the 2 parts of the graphics card, or the power supply, that will fit into these slots on the graphics card. Lastly, we're going to want to hook up the hard drive. Just under the graphics card here, there's a bunch of slots here, and we'll be using this cable.
There's another one in the hallway. You saw him right there. He just jumped in.
Now, we can just set this down, and congratulations! You've just assembled a computer without a case. And if I plug this in, I can in fact turn it on. Now that everything's wired up, let's go ahead and power this on. And there we have it. We now know that all the parts are working properly.